Museum Telekom is historically actually located, what we say, situated inside the building which was historically built in 1928. It was meant for a manual exchange, telephony exchange of Telekom Malaysia. In 1985, when it's actually we have migrated the exchanges, this building was intended to preserve the building structure and historical of its nature. So that's why in 1994 we have actually officially opened Museum Telekom in what we call this building as a Museum Telekomunikasi Negara.
To be honest, my first museum in Malaysia I've been, and it's really interesting and pretty well maintained and developed, so I would say. And I've been traveling for last 14 months around the world now.
Museum Telekom exhibits the history of telecommunication in the country. We have lots of artifacts to showcase what we call telecommunication, not just the infrastructure but also the equipment. So this is what was intended for the Telekom Museum, where people can actually look into telecommunication equipment, telecommunication history of Malaysia, and to learn and get information from what we call the history of Malaysian telecommunication. This is why we have a lot of artifacts covered the whole entire transformation and also what we call revolution of telecommunication in the country. Touch base also in terms of the world telecommunication evolution.
This museum gives a good idea about the history of telecommunication from the early days and even from the work, the lot of hard work the girls had to put into, so I really enjoyed it.
I liked it upstairs because it shows a little bit more the future, like especially with the unified communication, like with the UCC, where the future goes with the 4G, 5G, like in terms of cell phone technology. So upstairs is actually for me the most interesting part.
The museum was built and actually exhibits what we call it time movement of the evolution of telecommunication. You can actually look into the first phase of it, where we can see the history, early communication in the world, and then you can move on towards what we call telephony, telegraph, what we also call the exhibits of exchanges. This is what we intended for a infrastructure of telecommunication. Not just that, we can see also public telephones, the history of public telephones, the evolution of the design, and also touch on the mobile phone and also technology. Plus, we have future communication. We also exhibit the area where we call is the Experience Center of Unify. This is when we talk about the evolution, when we start with wired, we start with wireless, and move on towards until today. So this is why we need to come and see not just what we have today in telecommunication world, but also to understand the history of evolution of telecommunication in the country. So we have it all here in Museum Telekom, section by section, to exhibit all this information for the knowledge, not just for those people, not just school children, but also for those people who are in the higher learning institution, and also those people who are interested to know more about what is going on and what is actually happening in the telecommunication industry.
About this museum, yes, a lot of original things around, a lot of technology, very authentic, very nice, very open, a lot of good information, clean, accurate, good climate.
as I mentioned, it's not just about school children education part of the museums. People who always can come, walk in to the museum daily to actually understand and to look at the transformation of telecommunication industry in the country and to see the real artifacts of the equipments of telecommunication in the country. This is why I think not just about learning on the time frame, on the evolution of technology, but to see ourselves the real artifacts of what we have here at Museum Telekom.
I think the artifacts from the history which has been preserved, and for example the stones from Borneo, which is a replica over there telling about the history of Islam, and different artifacts, how it's changed, and depicting the culture as well.
Frankly speaking, we are facing few challenges, especially when we talk about museum in the country. So this is where most of the Malaysians really need reasons to go to museum. In this part, as I mentioned earlier, we want to transform the museum into more interactive. This is where we can not just to come and have a look at the artifacts, but to learn interestingly and fun. So this is where we are putting up more resources on this, so that attract more locals to come and have a look. Another part is actually on the more resources. We're talking about information, more details, what the artifacts details. This is where the international visitors find it more interesting to learn more things about, not just about, maybe they have known a lot of telecommunication, but focusing on Malaysian telecommunication evolution. How we evolve from time to time and why it's evolved. This is where people can come to Museum Telekomunikasi Negara and to learn and to see what's really happening to the Malaysian telecommunication industry.
The part I really like, I think, is the work with the exchanger. You know, we really had to see that telecommunication was manual work in those days and not as easy as we expected it today. You know, just use a smartphone, dial in the number, and you are safe that you reach someone on the other side. It was really hard and, I guess, exhausting work.
Which part? I liked here this, what's that, telephone changing area. That's very interesting. Remembers me to very old times that I did not experience, maybe as a child.
I would like to urge all of the visitors to come and don't miss the opportunities to visit Museum Telekomunikasi Negara located in Kuala Lumpur to learn more about telecommunication, technology history and also evolution in Malaysia. So do welcome here. We want you to be here to experience it yourself and to understand more on telecommunication in Malaysia.